On this episode of Survive and Thrive 8791, I welcome Christine Quinn, founder of the nonprofit Living Kindness, to the Buck and Honey's remote studios. Christine's journey from higher education leadership to navigating parenting, divorce, and a child's substance use and mental health crisis led her to transform pain into purpose. Today, Living Kindness supports families across southern Wisconsin with compassion, resources, and hope, reminding parents they are never alone. This will be a good one. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What is up wherever you are, whatever you are doing? I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to another episode of Survive and Thrive 8791. I'm your host, Coach Decora. We are in the Buck and Honey's remote studios on the east side of our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. You can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and YouTube at Survive and Thrive 8791. You can follow the podcast and get access to previous episodes on Facebook, YouTube, and all of those other places at Survive and Thrive 8791, the podcast. Don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you listen to the show. Leave me a comment if you liked what you heard. If there's a topic or you know a guest who would love to share their story, email me at tdecora@gmail.com. Our mission is to share stories and conversations that make you cry, laugh, and think, stimulating emotions, creating laughter, and inspiring the mind. A new episode will air on Monday and Thursday morning featuring a wide range of guests. The podcast will touch on many subjects such as, but not limited to, grief, loss of a loved one, recovery, professional setback, mental illness, success despite challenges, etc. Our guests will share how they learn to survive and thrive. Before I introduce our guest, I'd like to highlight our website, surviveandthrive8791.com. You can see what we are doing and the events we are hosting. If you're a business or an advocate for mental health and recovery, we invite you to partner with us through sponsorship opportunities. Please contact us at surviveandthrive8791.com. This is our guest and episode intro. According to the internet, and the internet is always right, correct, Christine?
Yeah, most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time. I haven't had that response yet. Well, in my house, I don't need the internet. I don't need Alexa. I don't need Siri. I don't need any of that. Look at my wife, and she's always right. So
good for her.
Good for her. Not so good for me. Wink, wink. According to an AI artificial intelligence overview, an estimated 7.7 million youth aged 6 to 17 experienced a mental health disorder in 2016, which is more than 1 in 7 children. Adolescents, specifically ages 12 to 17, or about 2.2 million, had a substance use disorder, SUD, in 2023. And our guests had to navigate those two items with a child of hers, and she's here to tell her story, and hopefully her story will help somebody who is experiencing that same scenario. Today, I welcome Christine Quinn to the Buck and Honey's remote studios. Christine grew up in Cashton, Wisconsin, and attended Cashton High School and is a proud Eagle. After high school, Christine would take her talents first to the University of Wisconsin La Crosse. She would make several changes in her academic career before deciding on higher education leadership. She has worn many hats in her career. Today, I'm so glad you could join us. Christine Quinn, what is up?
Thank you. It is great to be here. Thank you, Tim.
It is great to be here, and this is our second face-to-face meeting. We had some coffee a couple of weeks ago, and then we actually first met at the Survive and Thrive 8791 Mental Health and Recovery Conference.
Which was an excellent conference and a great way for me to meet a lot of wonderful people.
Yeah, it's amazing how when we throw our story out there or tell what we're doing and it affects people positively, and what the work you're doing is helping people. The work I'm doing is, I think, is helping people.
Absolutely.
We connect the dots, and all of a sudden we're making contacts and connections with other people, helping to grow with each other.
Absolutely.
I do have to ask, what about all this snow and these cold days recently? I mean, it's probably just as cold in Evansville.
It is very cold in Evansville, and it creates a real problem for my doodles who have a hard time in the snow and come in with ice-covered paws. That creates a mess.
Doodles. Okay, so couple of dogs?
Two.
Two dogs. Let's talk about the dogs.
Patches and Coda.
Patches and Coda, 2 boys,
One girl and one boy.
one
Coda
girl.
is a girl.
Coda's a girl. And how long have you had?
I have them both as puppies, and so one is 6 and the other is 4.
Ooh, so you got a ways to go then.
Yeah, yes.
At least
yes.
puppy
I hope,
years.
yes,
You hope so.
They took lots of training.
Do you have them where, do you have like the little socks on the paws and a little coat when they go out when it's this cold?
Oh, Tim, that's been quite an experiment to find what it is they need. Right now they have leggings with suspenders that go across their back so they stay on when they go through the deep snow.
So when we do the promo and I push all of this stuff out to let everybody know that you're going to be on, I would love to have a photo of the dogs with suspenders.
Okay,
so if you could submit that, I'll put that out there because that's pretty unique. So are you looking forward to the holidays?
I am looking forward to the holidays.
And you're looking forward to the holidays because why?
The holidays are a time with family.
Mm-hmm.
It's also quiet time, actually, and kind of just being as opposed to the hurry of every day. And so I'll get to see my children. My granddaughter is actually baptized the Sunday before Christmas, and so it'll be a full week.
Yeah, as a former teacher for 32 years and then now still kind of working in and out of the school district, there's something about that winter break that you always look forward to kind of recharge the batteries. And then, like you said, with laughing and giggling and seeing family that maybe you haven't seen in a while, it does give you that little boost of added energy for kind of the beginning of the new year and then, second semester.
Yeah, and I'm also known for games. And so you can ask my family. We have lots of games at the holiday time. Okay,
well, then that leads to the next question. What are your favorite, let's go with what are your 3 favorite games?
3 favorite games. Jenga, and we have a giant Jenga.
I was going to say, do you have a giant Jenga then?
I have a giant Jenga, and so giant Jenga is fun. Just played Monopoly with my grandson in Colorado, and that was fabulous. But of course...
And by the way, how long did that Monopoly game last?
It lasted a long time, and I have to tell you what the end result was. My grandson bankrupted me and sent me to jail.
Bankrupted you and sent you to jail.
Yes.
He should have bankrupted you and sent you to like the old folks home maybe.
Yes. No, my kids are going to pick that.
Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come.
Yes,
okay, so we got Jenga, Monopoly, and then number 3.
Then I like just little simple games. Like sometimes we have an adjective game and everybody picks an adjective and we drop it in a hat. And then you have to guess whose is whose. And it's just kind of an interactive, fun little game.
It's crazy now how anybody can go on YouTube and type in holiday games or Valentine's games or whatever the holiday is. And the YouTube will spit out 10 to 15 games that, there's probably 3 or 4 that, I played that before. But then there's another 10 to a dozen that I've never seen that before. Yeah. And I've got to get these red solo cups and I got to get dice and I got to get, all of these other things. Yeah. And they end up kind of being fun.
Yeah. So I have one more too, if I can add to that.
Absolutely.
And I think when I looked it up online, I think it was called Greed.
Greed.
But I don't like the name Greed, and so we call it Surprise. And it's specifically at the holiday time, and everybody brings gifts in small bags, small little things, fun things. And we roll a dice, and when you get doubles, you get to grab a gift. And it goes around and around. And then the final round is, high speed, and you end up with these gifts in front of you. Then you can actually trade or steal the gifts of each other. And then at the end, once you've opened them, you can also trade as well. And it's become quite a fun family game. And the gifts are always something different. My son has decided to put money in envelopes. And so everybody is looking for the envelopes now. So not certain what this year will have in store.
I wonder if he'll throw anybody off and put envelopes without anything in it.
I don't know. Don't tell him. Don't tell him.
Don't tell him. Well, I like that. That's got a little bit of a white elephant in there where you can take and steal and trade or whatever. But
yeah, those socks, those aren't real popular, but they're in there.
Absolutely. Before we get to your story, I need to talk about our sponsor. Our sponsor, Buck and Honey's Restaurants, are a place that people can escape to. For me, it's a great escape from cooking dinner. Do you cook?
Oh, I do.
What's your favorite genre, style, or cuisine?
I think Mediterranean
Mediterranean.
is a favorite. And part of that is I have some intolerances, gluten and dairy and soy and peanut. And so Mediterranean is just really a healthy way and a healthy approach to that. And the herbs, I also love the herbs that are used for Mediterranean. It's also, interesting that I've done cooking clubs at my house. So we invite people, we create a menu, buy all the groceries, and then everybody cooks together. And that's always a fun time for people to connect, right? We connect over food.
Yeah, you slide a little cutting board and say, hey, can you cut these shallots for me?
Yes.
Or can you mix up this little sauce for whatever? Yeah, no, it's good stuff. Mediterranean, love it. With their great food and drink menu, 5-star customer service, and a welcoming and vibrant atmosphere, people keep coming back with locations in Sun Prairie, Monona, Waunakee, and Mount Horeb, Wisconsin. Most communities in Dane County, which encompasses the Madison metropolitan area, can get to a Buck and Honey's within 10 to 15 minutes. I do a little drum roll here. My table's very acoustically sound. Have you been to Buck and Honey's?
I have been to Buck and Honey's. It's quite a delight. I've been both to the Sun Prairie location. I think I went with my sisters a couple times. It's a good birthday location.
Yeah.
And I've also been to the Monona location.
Monona, okay. Do you remember what your favorite meal is? And that's okay if you don't.
I don't remember what I had yet.
They have really good food. And probably one of the reasons people don't remember is they do change their menu kind of with the seasons. And that's nice that you can go in there and you're expecting to get maybe Spanky's meatloaf. And all of a sudden, where is it? Well, we switched the menu, and it gets probably people to keep coming back. But I would encourage you to try the pizza next time. I've been eating that since the mid-'80s. You probably weren't born yet then, but the mid-'80s.
Yeah, right. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. All right. On the podcast, our guests follow the format for sharing their story like this. In segment 1, we talk about what was it like, so we get into Christine's history, what happened to get Christine on the podcast, and in segment 2, we continue to talk about what happened and get into what it's like now, and we discuss Christine's 5 suggestions for thriving. So you grew up in Cashton, Wisconsin, the Cooley region. What was life like growing up on the ridge there? Because I'm familiar. I started teaching in Hillsboro, and anytime we wanted to go to the big city, La Crosse, we usually had to go through or around Cashton, and that sits up on the kind of the ridge a little bit. So what was life like growing up as an Eagle in Cashton?
So Cashton is a small rural community. So oftentimes I would say now in retrospect it was simple, right? I can remember as a child spending a lot of time outdoors. I remember...
was it the classic when the street lights come on, you get your rear end home?
Well, I lived in the country, so we didn't have street lights. Yes. And so it took a special effort to actually have friends over, or we would go see our cousins who lived in town, right? And so that was, our socializing. But a lot of times I spent out in nature. I can actually even remember canning apples. We had an apple orchard where we lived, and I would take the apples and cut those up and put them in the baby food jars. My brothers were much younger, so we had empty baby food jars. And so I did canning just as a young kid.
Those were simpler times.
Absolutely.
Tell us about your family growing up, Mom and Dad, and you're the middle child of 5.
I am the middle child. I have 2 older sisters and 2 younger brothers, and we span 18 years, and there is 6 years on each side of me. So you might say they thought I was going to be a problem child. Kind of grew out of it, kind of not.
And Mom and Dad?
My mom and dad actually are from Cashton, and so they were natives of Cashton. Yes, and as a matter of fact, my grandparents, both my maternal and my paternal grandparents, lived on the same block, 3 houses apart. So when I went to visit one, I would get orange slices, the candy, the orange slices, and I'd walk down the street and I'd go to the other grandma and get sugar cookies.
Ooh, so you got your your jolt of sugar for,
Absolutely, yes.
and then little Christine's running around like she's on fire.
Yes, desserts.
Desserts. You graduated from Cashton High School and are a proud Eagle. And I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, I must have been typing this up during the Packer game. EAGEO.
EAGLE works too.
Yes, that works. All right. What were some of your favorite memories in high school?
So in high school, I was very active in a variety of clubs. So I remember newspaper club, annual club. Also for a while, I did Girls Athletic Association and played volleyball. Not very good at it, but I played volleyball as well. And so activities with friends were always popular. Going to sporting events were popular. So it was a good high school. As a matter of fact, I just had a reunion. I'm not going to say which one.
Oh, really?
But it was great to reconnect with classmates.
I know just from coaching and teaching in that particular conference, the Scenic Bluffs Conference, senior classes are not very big in those schools. How big was your senior class?
65.
65. That is actually a pretty decent size school. I want to say when I taught in Hillsborough, we were 180 strong. Divide that by 4, you had 45 kids. Some classes were a little bit bigger, which then meant some classes were a little bit smaller. So right around that 45 range. You sent me in your notes a trip you went on during or after high school. Talk about that.
Yes. So I took Spanish in high school, and I believe it was my freshman year. The Spanish teacher said, we're going to take a group to Spain. And this was very unusual at that point in time. Now a lot of classes go abroad, but at that time...
They go all over the place.
Right. But this was unusual, and that was the first time that I had heard of that. So I'm curious. I go home. I say to my parents, I really would like to go on that trip. And of course, I get that look. Well, how are you going to pay for that?
Is there from the money tree in the backyard?
Yes.
Money grow on trees?
Yes. And I don't remember. I want to say it was like $2,300 or something like that. It was a substantial amount for that money.
I was going to say that for that time it was.
Yeah.
I know what time that was. We won't share that with anybody.
Our secret, okay? Except what was interesting is that weren't jobs. Like now you'd say to our children, well, go get a job, right? Well, in Cashton, there wasn't, a Quick Trip at that time or any restaurants, that I could actually go and work at. And so it was like, I don't know. I guess I won't be able to go. Time passed, and my dad comes and he says, if you really want to go on that trip, we have an allotment to raise tobacco. At which I looked at him and said, well, what good does that do me? But nonetheless, he said, if you raise the tobacco, I'll help you. You raise the tobacco, but you manage it all. And when we sell that tobacco, that money can go towards your trip. And guess what we did? We raised tobacco. Now, at that time, it was probably
That's hard work, too.
More appropriate than now. But, oh, my God, it's hard work. Tossing that tobacco and then remembering in January where you're in the little, let's see, what was it? We had just this small area that was heated, and we had to strip off each of the leaves of the tobacco stalks, and then you had to bale that and then take that away to actually sell it. So it was hard work. But now when I think about it, oh my gosh, was that not brilliant? My father was teaching me what I could do, to what the results of hard work are. And I left it saying, hey, if there's anything I want, I know if I work hard enough, I'll be able to get it.
And certainly some goal setting in there, and also realizing, like you said, that if I want to do something, I'm going to have to work for it, and I'm going to work really hard. But there's probably not very many jobs that are where you got to work as hard as doing tobacco. I mean, so in Wanakee, where I taught for 29 years, we had not several, but a lot of, and didn't matter with boys or girls. We had some kids that worked tobacco, and they talked about how tough it was, but they seemed pretty proud of the work that they were doing.
Yes, I'm very proud. And then let's fast forward the actual trip itself. because that was just transformative. I mean, I don't know if at that point in time I had been outside of Wisconsin. One time I think we took the bus to Colorado because my sister had lived there for a while, but that was it. And so to get on this plane and go over this big pond, to this place that was totally foreign to me, was life-changing.
Yeah. And the one thing I think about when people say that they took trips in the 80s, 70s, 80s, or 90s, riding in that tube with all of those people smoking cigarettes back in the old day, and then you got a meal, like hot chicken and chicken cordon bleu. I tell my kids and some other younger people that we used to get full course meal. What?
And now we think if we get peanuts, it's good. Right?
Yeah, if we get, could I get some extra pretzels?
Yes.
Try to get as much as I can.
Yes.
So after high school, you would take your talents to, first of all, not very far away, University of Wisconsin, La Crosse, just up the road. However, you would leave UWL and embark on a journey that found you searching for kind of a correct career path. You finally settle on hospitality and tourism at the University of Wisconsin Stout, and you referred to your probably academic and career path as eclectic. I found that very eclectic. Tell us about that journey, about how you found your way eventually. Took a while, a little bit.
It did. And so I'm an Aries, so I am curious.
Right around me, Pisces.
Okay. And I am curious, and I like to try different kinds of things. And I hadn't had an exposure to a whole lot of different careers. So when
especially in Cashton.
Yes, absolutely. So I had started in vocational rehabilitation, helping individuals who have disabilities find employment. And then that wasn't quite a great fit either. And I had the opportunity to join a family business that was hotels, developing hotels. And that's where the hospitality and tourism set in. Again, hotels are hard work, but that farm girl in me, that well worked.
But we're in the state of tourism and hospitality, so probably you can find work.
Absolutely. And but at that point in time, I had a family, and the 24/7 wasn't real compatible with the family, so I started teaching at UW Stout, and I loved teaching.
So you would end up then in what you said, and what I understand is higher education.
That's correct.
And leadership. Did you experience a breakthrough or a big break that allowed you to kind of matriculate the ladder, so to speak?
I had an opportunity to experiment with leadership in different kinds of ways. I actually spent some time at New Mexico State in Las Cruces.
Oh, yeah.
And there I provided leadership for a tourism center. And so that was my opportunity to begin to experiment in leadership. And then, of course, being Midwesterners, we missed, the cold winters. And so we came back, and I became a department chair at UW Stout. And so that was really my first official leadership role, which I enjoyed most of the time. But it was challenging as well. But that was really my entree into leadership, and deciding that higher ed leadership would be the route that I wanted to go.
My first question was, what in the heck did you leave New Mexico for? But, you grew up in a small town, and you didn't really go very far, up at La Crosse, and then Stout's just another half an hour, 45 minutes north. And that pull of, you go to different parts of the world or the U.S., and everybody refers to Wisconsin and Midwesterners as Midwest kind, and we kind of probably missed that, so to speak. And then you probably took what you learned there and started to apply it at UW Stout, and you would retire when?
Retire. I'm going to tell you that I'm not retired.
You're not retired.
That I'm redefining retirement.
Yes, there we go.
And so what I find in this phase of my life is continuing to contribute And so my nonprofit is certainly part of that. And I still do executive coaching and consulting, predominantly leaders in higher education. And so all of those experiences up to this point in time continue to serve me and allow me to continue to contribute.
So you're a consultant.
A consultant and a coach.
And a coach. I love it. Because our listeners want to hear the rest of your story and what brought you to the podcast, I need to talk about our sponsor one more time. Buck and Honey's has been with the Survive and Thrive 8791 crew since the beginning, with 4 locations in the Madison area. One is always near. People ask, why Buck and Honey's? Owner Tom Anderson places a high priority on the mental health of his employees. He has a mental health professional available for them should they need support. I don't know how many businesses go above and beyond their employee assistance program, but Buck and Honey's does. Christine Quinn is in the Buck and Honey's remote studios to share her story. She would start her professional career. Along the way, she would marry and want to start a family. In segment 2, you'll find out about some bumps in the road that occurred and have shaped her life of living kindness. And that's her nonprofit that she's working to improve and grow and all of that good stuff, and she's going to talk about that. But please stay tuned. Don't change that channel. You're not going to want to miss segment 2 of Survive and Thrive 8791. We will be back.
If you, a loved one, or someone you know is experiencing a physical, mental, or emotional crisis, there is help and resources out there. Contact NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness Helpline, at 1-800-950-6264. This is a free service providing information, resource referrals, and support to people living with a mental illness, their family, providers, and the public. United Way 211 is available 24/7, 365, and offers free confidential assistance. They connect people with the local programs and services that can help. Dial 211. Emergency Crisis Services, dial 911. The Suicide Prevention Lifeline, dial 988. To connect via web, chat, visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Along with those numbers, there is help. You just need to say 3 words. I need help. Now, back to the show.
We are back. Welcome back to segment 2 of Survive and Thrive 8791. I'm your host, Coach Tim Decora. We are in the Buck and Honey's remote studios on the east side of our great capital city of Madison, Wisconsin. The podcast is where we feature guests who share their story in hopes of helping others who may be struggling with what life throws at them. Today, I'm so glad to be joined in the Buck and Honey's remote studios by Christine Quinn. She's here to share her eclectic career and life story and how she's found a nature-based community where people come to heal, connect, and rediscover joy together. And we're going to get to her Living Kindness nonprofit here in a little bit, but we got to talk a little bit about really why you're here and then probably how that maybe started your journey. So you would marry and decide to have children. You have 2 adopted children and 1 biological child. You would raise your children in a loving home and provide everything that each one needed. However, one of your children would start to engage in probably normal experimentation with substances in high school, and that would turn into more than just experimenting. That would probably get into that addiction of substances. So you're not here to tell your child's story. We're here to hear you tell your story and how you managed that time of struggle for your child and then yourself. So what was happening? What was going on? Talk about that. Paint us a picture.
Okay. So my children were in middle school and high school. They're really close in age. Mm-hmm. And I found myself as a single parent. And with that, I had a professional career. I was working at UW Stout, as we've talked earlier mm-hmm. about. And so I had the day-to-day obligations of working as well as supporting a family. And that seemed to be going okay. And I was a strong woman, so I thought, hey, I can take this all on. And then I started to notice that one of my children was struggling. some of those signs were kind of withdrawal from day-to-day activities that used to bring meaning, the withdrawal from music and sports that at one time brought great joy. But I didn't know exactly what to do with that. And I was busy, and there was a lot to be done in terms of just making the household run. Mm-hmm. And so, to be honest, I would say I just put it in autopilot to get through that, at least on the outside. On the inside, I was frustrated. I was anxious. My brain was telling me, just try to control it. Just try to control it. Keep things under control. Which now, in hindsight, I became an enabler through that. But that's where my head was at.
A lot of parents, in particular, I've heard a lot of moms say that we just like to fix things. We want to make it better and do some things when we start to notice that shift change of loved sports, loved music, loved going to school, and then all of a sudden you see that change. And it might have been going on for a long time, but because of your work schedule and some of the things that go on with being an instructor, leadership, educational leader at UW Stout, there's meetings all the time, and then your classroom and working with kids. There's a lot of moving parts when it comes to that. So you talked about some frustration. Could you, if you had to look back at it now, knowing what you know about mental health, what were some of the things you were experiencing? Was it anxiety? Was it depression-based? Was it a combination of both? Talk about that.
I would say it was probably a combination of both, with anxiety probably leading the way, and being in denial of that. What did I try? I tried going to a psychotherapist with my child. There also was a point where I attended Al-Anon, trying to get support, and that worked to varying degrees. But I think it's important to also understand the stigma around all of this, right? There was stigma. I perceive myself that there would be stigma if I were to admit that I was struggling, and certainly stigma to admit that my child was struggling. And so a lot of times I found myself very alone and not willing to share what was going on.
So when you take a look at anxiety, there's all kinds of symptoms that go along with that. Was there anything that preceded you going to a therapist that I got to get this under control because here's what I'm experiencing on the inside? What were some of your symptoms that you were experiencing that started to sound alarm bells?
Yeah, so one, I would say that I was anxious and I couldn't sleep. However, I would say even when I went to see that therapist, I can't say that I said that I was doing it for myself. I think I would have said I was doing it for my child. And again, that's denial, right? And codependency. I can control this, right? So I better go and see a therapist.
Besides your therapist, were you leaning on anybody? I know you talked about maybe a little more internal work, but was there anybody, coworker, somebody at the university that you were leaning on?
Unfortunately, there wasn't a person that I was leaning on. My siblings, my sisters in particular, knew what was going on. And occasionally I had colleagues who worked in the health center on campus, and I could ask them for information to help to better understand what might be going on.
It's amazing how you probably know this from the work you're doing with Living Kindness, that when somebody comes to you and says, I'm struggling, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to help, right?
Right.
And I don't know what it would have been like if somebody came to me in the mid 90s in my professional career and somebody said, hey, I'm struggling. I might have been the first one to say, hey, I think you need to go and see a counselor. But now knowing what I know, maybe they just need somebody to listen to. And then, or, do you need some advice, or do you want to just vent? And oftentimes I hear people say that, no, I just wanted to get that off my shoulders, and there's a little relief there. But yet we find it so hard to do. People find it so hard to ask for help. But when we do, people come out of the woodwork to help. And that's, I wish and by you being here to talk about your story, that's kind of what you do now with the work you do.
Absolutely.
So your child is struggling with some substance use and maybe bordering on addiction. Mm-hmm. What kinds of interventions were you looking to explore, or did you look to explore to get some help for them?
Okay. So the first was the psychotherapist for a short period of time. But after it looked like it was more of a pattern and that it was happening more frequently, then we actually sought out treatment centers. One in particular, we went to Hazleton in the Twin Cities. They have a fabulous treatment facility there. We went there for an assessment. And unfortunately, the choice was not to stay, even though actually the recommendation was to stay for treatment. But I stayed for the parent program because we signed up for both at the same time. And I thought, okay, at that point, I need to know more. And so I signed up for the parent program. That was just a really, really hard experience for me. Because I was there and my loved one wasn't. And so while the other parents were excited for the new chapter that would be emerging for them, I wasn't seeing that chapter. And so instead I was ruminating over, okay, now what's my role in this? Where does this leave me? So that was just a hard experience.
So fast forward now to 2025. How are things going?
God is good. We're in a very different spot. We will have a sober Christmas. So that is great success. And I am in a very different spot. I've done my work, so I can see things more objectively, and I'm not driven by trying to control everything for myself and my family.
Okay, I got to ask that question because somebody's driving to work or listening as they're working out. Is it the first sober Christmas?
It is the first sober Christmas.
It is the first
yes.
sober Christmas. Okay, so that is some real stuff. And people that are listening because they want to hear how you got through it and what happened and what it's like now. I can see the smile on your face, and I can feel your vibe here a little bit, that you're looking forward to this. And you didn't say it at the beginning when I said, what are you looking forward to now? That is huge. A sober Christmas, when sometimes for a lot of people, in particular in Wisconsin, what do holidays mean? Holidays mean imbibing and using alcohol and substances and a time to celebrate, and you can do those games that you talked about and know that you don't have to worry much about things. There's probably still a little bit of worry in there, but day by day, hour by hour, things continue to improve.
Absolutely. And in terms of the drinking, there's lots of wonderful mocktails now that can take the place of the alcohol. And so that part of it, we can look at differently. But joy happens in different kinds of ways when we're all sober.
Out of struggles in our lives, we find hope and purpose. You have found that in a nonprofit organization that you founded called Living Kindness. You made a commitment that no one should have to walk alone while they cope with a family member who struggles with addiction, mental health issues, etc. Because you had to walk that journey. You had to go and cope alone. And you're here to talk about you can get through it alone. but it helps to have somebody either walking next to you, walking behind you, holding your hand. And if somebody doesn't, Living Kindness can do that, which is so, so cool. Tell us about your nonprofit.
Would you like me to begin with what caused me to start?
Yeah, absolutely.
So obviously, as I look at my eclectic background, right, there were many things that have led me to Living Kindness. However, there is one experience in particular, and it was a trip to a treatment center in Florida. And I remember it as a fall day. It was nice outside. We're scheduled for the flight to go to Florida. Take off from Milwaukee Airport. Got to cruising altitude, 30,000 feet, piece of cake. And then I noticed the young person next to me. He seemed agitated, quite agitated. And all of a sudden, grabs my arm and says, "Mom, help me." What the hell? What do I do now? I'm in this airplane. So, a short prayer, a flight attendant walks through the aisle, and I said, "I think we need medical help." Moves us to the back of the airplane, and there were angels on this trip, also known as nurses, who helped us, got us to landing safely, and the paramedics helped to check things out. And in that conversation, I had a conversation with the flight attendant then while things are being checked out, and she looked at me and she said, "And you're alone, aren't you?" And I looked back at her without thinking. I said, "And I can guarantee you for the rest of my days on this earth, I am committed to see that no one else needs to be alone." I didn't know exactly what I was saying or what that meant, but that was the seed for Living Kindness. And we are now a community to support others who have loved ones struggling with substance use disorder. We do a variety of things. We are located in Evansville, Wisconsin, and so we have outdoor activities, we have hiking trails, I have a medicine wheel, we have a studio, so art and creativity is part of our healing, and we're also starting a new sober social in January, which allows us to have fun too. And so we are creating the space for others to come together, to heal, and also find joy.
It's crazy where when people... It might have been your rock bottom, but it might have been your child's rock bottom of okay, we're on this airplane and I can't do anything. We can't do anything. And then you learn from, you call them a couple angels, a couple of nurses, and a stewardess. Mm-hmm. And they help you through a tough situation, and the plane lands and you get off and you can probably breathe a little easier, but you needed somebody, and now somebody paid it forward to you, and now you're paying it forward to other folks so that they don't have to go through this alone. And that's just powerful, powerful stuff.
And I would share with you, Tim, there was one of those nurses that looked at me and she said, "I have a son who's been in recovery for 5 years, and there'll be nothing that you're more proud of." And that's how I feel about my child as well.
Powerful, powerful stuff. So what goals for your future does Christine Quinn have for Living Kindness, or is there something else that you're going to look to do?
So this stage of my life, it's about Living Kindness, but to continue to grow Living Kindness and to have our reach be wider as well, to include those who may be on the recovery journey, people who aren't, people who just want to be in community with each other. Because that's what we're finding in today's world, is that people simply want to come together and to have a space where they can be grounded. Living Kindness is a beautiful location, and Mother Earth is part of what we do at Living Kindness. And so my focus is around Living Kindness, continuing to be in community, and finding joy with friends and family.
And we talked at our first coffee meeting about, you don't maybe necessarily need to be going through really anything. that you open up your doors to living kindness for people to come as in like groups, and then they find out that when they get there, that they may learn something about themselves. They may learn something about how to cope with things or the activities that you do, cooking and snowshoeing and a lot of the other things at Living Kindness that, hey, maybe I found something I can do when I'm feeling like I don't want to get off the couch or I'm feeling anxious. I felt really calm doing some of those things. Good stuff, good stuff.
Yes, and it's all about learning and experiencing together.
This is where the subscribers, followers, and listeners take out the notebooks, pens, and pencils and jot some things down. Here are Christine Quinn's 5 suggestions that have allowed her to survive and thrive through an eclectic life, and also some struggles with a child, and then certainly getting Living Kindness up and running and moving in the right direction. Here's what you shared, and I'm going to toss these in underhand softball style. Have you hit a softball? Can you hit a softball?
Well, Tim, in high school I was on a softball team. We never got within 20 points of our opponent.
Okay.
But on occasion I might be able to hit a softball.
All right, well, I'll toss it in there and I'll try to hit the bat.
Okay.
Number one, and here's what you shared with us. Number 1, start with yourself. Go ahead and hit that, 60 seconds or less.
Look in the mirror. Look at the wonderful person you are and invest in you. You did not cause the situation. You cannot control it, and you cannot cure it. It's about you. Be your best self.
Those are the 3 C's of Al-Anon. And I went to a couple of Al-Anon meetings because of some things I dealt with, and it's a good place. It's a good starting spot. Some people stick with it for the rest of their lives. Some people take what they need and leave the rest. And I picked up some really good things from Al-Anon. So those of you that have people in your lives that are struggling, that are near and dear to you, it's a good start. Number 2, practice presence. Go ahead and hit that.
Yes. Learn to listen. Listen to yourself. Listen to what it is that you need. Be attuned to your intuition, to nature, and allow yourself to be grounded as much as you can.
It's one thing I love about meditation that I will do on occasion. I need to do more, but when you're sitting in a quiet place and breathing and focusing on breathing or listening to sounds out in the forest, it can get you present real quick. Number 3, stay hopeful.
Yes, it's not a linear process. Hope is a practice. Do not give up. It takes time. Healing takes time for yourself and for your loved ones.
And listening to your story, you could have very well gave up on maybe yourself. You could have gave up on your child, but you stayed the course is what I've heard people say, and you stayed the course, and you're going to have a sober holiday.
Absolutely.
Love it. Number 4, remember that substance use disorder affects the whole family. Go ahead and hit that.
Indeed. The whole family is impacted because we're a system. And know that you deserve healing as well. So invest in you in your healing.
I like it. And number 5, find gratitude each day. Go ahead and hit that.
When we pause and be thankful and be grateful, we raise our energy level and we can find joy in more things. And so I encourage everyone to pause, be grateful, and find the good in life.
Yep, and I was grateful, but when you apply that practice from somebody who educated me on why it's important to be grateful and practice gratitude, I do it every day before I start my day. I've got a list of things that I'm grateful for, and it's something that's rewired my brain.
Yeah, that's part of my mindfulness activity that I do daily as well.
What an episode. I'm so glad you could join the Survive and Thrive 8791 crew today. Your story and how you managed to work through an eclectic life is inspiring. It really is. Your story reminds us all to have coping skills or mental health tools in the toolbox when a person is met with life's challenges, and you provided a bunch today, and you also have a place where you can go and get those tools for your toolbox at Living Kindness. Despite that, you are surviving and thriving. Our call to action, Christine Quinn just shared her story and how she had to get through some tough circumstances throughout parenthood. Since then, she has endured and persevered. Here are Christine Quinn's 5 suggestions that have allowed her to survive and thrive. Number 1, start with yourself. Number 2, practice presence. Number 3, stay hopeful. Number 4, remember that substance use disorder affects the whole family. And number 5, find gratitude each day. Final thoughts as we close another great episode of Survive and Thrive 8791. Are there any final thoughts? Christine Quinn.
I encourage people to seek out community. If Living Kindness can be of help, if you have a simple question, reach out, livingkindness.net. We are here to support others, and we can relate to the journey you may be on. And thank you, Tim. It's been a great experience.
I'm glad we had an opportunity to meet a couple different times, and then I'm inspired by your story. And your story, I believe, is going to help 1 to 100 people that hear it. And then to know that you also have a place where people can go as individuals or groups of people that can go. And if you have somebody who's struggling in your life and you can grab them and take them to Living Kindness, I guarantee you they're going to come out of there with some tools for the toolkit that they can use. And I would encourage you all, and I will drop these links in the promo for the show and also in the podcast notes to get in touch with Christine and Living Kindness and get some help. So awesome episode. On our next episode of Survive and Thrive 8791, we will have another amazing guest in the Buck and Honey's remote studios who will share how they learn to survive and thrive. If you have a story to share or you know someone who does, please reach out to me at tdecora@gmail.com. Until next time, hang in there with whatever you happen to be going through, and with hard work, dedication, and determination, you can survive and thrive. Until next time, take care.